Your business is running, revenue is coming in, the team is moving, things are getting done. And somewhere inside all of that forward motion, there is a single thread holding it together. One person, one process, one platform, one thing that, if it breaks, stops everything. Most operators never find it, not because they are not looking, because the business feels stable, right up until the moment it is not. The single point of failure, it is already in your business. You just have not found it yet. This is no book of a COO. If you are building a business and you want operational thinking instead of motivational content, subscribe now. This show is not about hustle. It is about the systems that keep businesses running when things go wrong. Season 2. Let's get into it. So what is a single point of failure? In engineering, a single point of failure is any component whose failure causes the entire system to stop. One bad bearing, one failed circuit, the whole machine goes down. In business, the concept works exactly the same way, but operators do not call it that. They call it by a name. Kevin is the only person who knows how to run the billing system. Sandra is the only one who manages the relationship with the biggest client. Or you are the only one who can close a deal. The single point of failure is the thing your business cannot survive losing, and most operators have more of them than they think. The problem? They find out the hard way. Here is the pattern that shows up in almost every business that hits a wall. Things are working, revenue is stable, the team is functioning, the systems are running. The operator looks around and thinks, we are in a good place. And then something breaks. Not a market shift, not a competitor move, something small. A key employee hands in their resignation. A vendor goes out of business. A platform changes its pricing structure, and the tool you built your entire operation around suddenly costs 3 times what it did. And the operator discovers in real time that they built an entire system around one thing they never thought to protect. Here is what makes it hurt. It is not just the disruption. It is the realization that it was always fragile and they did not know. That is the part that stays with you. Drop a comment if you have ever had a single point of failure break at the worst possible time. I read every one. So where do single points of failure actually hide in a business? Start with people. The most common single point of failure in any small business is a person. Not always the owner. Sometimes it is the employee who has been there since the beginning, the one everyone goes to when they do not know the answer, the one who, if they walked out on a Friday, would have the entire operation scrambling by Monday morning. Every business has at least one of these people. The problem is not that the person exists. The problem is that what they know exists only with them. Their knowledge is not documented. Their process is not written down. Their client relationships are not transferable. They are not a team member. They are a dependency wearing the title of employee. The fix is not to replace them. The fix is to extract what they know and put it somewhere the business can access without them. One process at a time, one documented workflow per week, until the business owns the knowledge, not just the person holding it. The person will still be valuable, but their absence will no longer be an emergency. The distinction? That is the difference between a team member and a single point of failure. But people are only the first category. The second type of single point of failure is a process, specifically a process that only works because one person performs it in a specific way that has never been written down. Here is what that looks like in practice. The onboarding works because Sandra does it. The invoicing works because Kevin does it. The client communication works because you do it. Remove any one of those people and the process does not slow down. It stops. Because the process was never actually a process. It was a person doing a series of steps that exist entirely in their head. Processes that live in people's heads are not systems. They are time bombs. Every one of them will detonate the moment that person is no longer available. Sick, resigned, burned out, gone. The fix is to write it down. Not a flowchart, not a 50-page manual, 1 page. The steps, in order, written clearly enough that someone new could follow them without asking a single question. That is the standard. Clear enough for someone new. If it requires explanation, it is not documented. It is just notes. Drop a comment. What is the one process in your business that only one person knows how to run? That is your starting point. And then there is the third category, the one most operators do not see until it is already too late, the platform or vendor dependency. Your business runs on tools, CRMs, automation platforms, scheduling software, payment processors, and most operators have at least one tool that, if it disappeared tomorrow, would take days or weeks to replace. Not because they chose a bad tool, because they built their entire operation around a single platform and never thought about what happens if that platform changes, raises prices, or shuts down. We have watched this happen in real time. Platforms get acquired. Pricing structures change overnight. APIs get shut off. Tools that thousands of operators built entire workflows around go dark with 60 days of notice. The same thing happens with vendors. One supplier, one shipping partner, one contractor. When your operation runs through a single vendor for a critical function, you are one decision from someone else's boardroom away from a crisis. The fix is not to stop using tools. The fix is to document your process around the outcome, not the platform. Know what you are trying to accomplish. Know who you would call next if the tool disappeared. Because when the platform changes, and it will, your operation should still be able to run. The operators who recover fastest from platform failures are not the ones who avoided dependency. They are the ones who planned for it. So how do you find and fix your single points of failure before they find you? 3 moves, in order. Move 1, run the 7-day test. Ask yourself, if I disappeared completely for 7 days, what would break first? Not slow down, not get difficult, break. Whatever you just thought of, that is your highest priority single point of failure. That is your starting point, not an audit, not a consultant, that one answer. Move 2, map your dependencies. Take 1 hour this week and write down 3 answers. What people does this business depend on that only they can do? What processes only work because one specific person performs them? What platforms or vendors, if they were gone tomorrow, would stop our operation? That list is your single point of failure inventory. It is not meant to make you anxious. It is meant to make you honest. Most operators find between 3 and 7 high-risk dependencies they have never named. Naming them is the first step to fixing them. Move 3. Eliminate 1 per month. Not all of them. 1. Pick the highest risk item on your list, the one that, if it broke this week, would do the most damage. Document it, cross-train for it, build a backup, then move to the next one. Fragility does not get fixed all at once. It gets fixed one dependency at a time, consistently, until the business is built to absorb disruption instead of being destroyed by it. The operators who never get caught by a single point of failure are not the ones who avoided all risk. They are the ones who named their risks before the risks named them. Your move coming out of this episode is one question. If you disappeared completely for 7 days, what breaks first? Write the answer down. 1 sentence. That is your single point of failure diagnosis. That is where you start. And if you want to know how deep the dependency runs across your entire operation, take the free operator assessment. It will show you exactly where your systems are most exposed. 3 minutes, free. Link is in the description. If this episode gave you something useful, share it with one operator in your world who needs to hear it. Subscribe if you have not. We are not slowing down in Season 2. Wherever you are, that is exactly where you are supposed to be. But that does not mean you have to stay there. Until next time.